I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. If you think it's the shoes, I promise you, it's not the shoes. It's not the shoes. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another episode of the Mark It Down podcast. I am your host, Coach Mark, here to talk about the game, talk about games, talk about everything else in between, and giving my perspective as a Division I college strength coach and just your everyday fan, right? Everyday fan, I watch sports just like you. I have my takes, I have my opinions, but today we're going to talk a little bit more about the anatomy side. I'm going to get into a little bit of that strength coach knowledge that I have, right? Today I want to talk about injuries. Want to talk about injuries, want to get into that. Want to talk about specifically the Achilles injury because there's a lot of misconception around that. There's a lot of misconception around how these basketball players in particular pop their Achilles, right? Let's go ahead. Let's get deep into that. So as we know, we've had a lot of guys in the league tear their Achilles and they're recovering from it. Jason Tatum is rehabbing. Damian Lillard's rehabbing. Tyrese Halliburton is rehabbing, right? Those were the main three that we all saw pop their Achilles during the season. And a lot of people jump straight to just, oh, it's the shoes. It's the shoes, it's the shoes, it's the low tops, it's the shoes. Let's relax, all right? Let's relax. It's not the shoes. It's not the shoes. This is just not me coming from a fan. This is just coming from someone who's had to study years and years of anatomy. It's not the shoes, right? What is the Achilles tendon? Before I even get to all that, let's talk about what the Achilles tendon is. The Achilles tendon connects your calf and your heel. Plain and simple. It is a tendon that absorbs force and releases force, right? Takes in all the force, like let's say you land. Let's say you jump off of something and you land. The Achilles is absorbing, it's the tendon that's absorbing some of that force, right? And then let's say you land and you jump back up, it's now releasing some of that force to help get you off the ground. Just a real simple what the Achilles does. It's a force absorber and force releaser. It helps you with acceleration, deceleration a little bit, getting off the ground, like I said. Things like that, quick movements, like when you go for a rebound, boom, and you pop right back up to put it back, that little pogo, that little pop, quick step. That is what the Achilles helps with. Now that we got the basic stuff out of the way, we know what the Achilles is, we know the function, we know what it does, we know where it's located. Like I said, it's on the back, it's on the bottom back of your leg. Just explain in simple terms, it connects your calf to your heel, right? It's on the back side. The reason why it can't be the shoes is number one, it's just the location of where it is, right? Your ankle is lower than your Achilles tendon. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. In terms of location, the Achilles sits up higher than the ankle joint. All right. With that being said, off rip, there's no way shoes can impact tearing your Achilles. All right. No correlation there. Second of all, high top sneakers were meant to prevent you from rolling your ankle, prevent ankle sprains. You know how you get a ball or you're in the air, you come down, you land on somebody's foot, your foot turns, right? That's what high top shoes are meant to prevent. A high top shoe cannot prevent an Achilles tear simply because, number one, I mean, just the way that tendon moves, there's no way you can, if you can tear your Achilles from an ankle twist or an ankle sprain, you have other problems to worry about. That should not be possible, right? So just the motion, the movement, right? Like I mentioned earlier, Achilles is a force absorber, right? Acceleration. You need to produce force to accelerate. All right, let's get into that a little bit. We all saw the replay of Tyrese Halliburton and, just to bring up another one, Kevin Durant. I mean, you watch the videos of both KD and Tyrese tearing their Achilles. They were both launching themselves forward, right, off of their back foot, producing some force off of their back foot. You can see, boom, you can see right where their Achilles pops. Right where they hit that step, trying to push themselves forward to make a dribble move, you can see right where their Achilles pops. All right. Just going back to talking about shoes again, a high top shoe cannot prevent that motion from happening. That's essentially a calf raise, basically. It's essentially a calf raise. Just a very forceful calf raise because you're trying to launch yourself, right? A high top sneaker cannot prevent that. It can't. Like, it's not possible. High top, low top, that movement cannot be prevented. If you make a shoe that does somehow prevent that movement from happening, you're not going to be able to perform as an athlete. You're just not. You're not going to be able to perform as an athlete, right? So a high top shoe, it's not even, it's out of the question. Point of me going through all that, it's not the shoes, right? It's not the shoes. I think the reason people blame the shoes is because, like, it's easy. It's so easy to be like, oh, the shoes are different, so it's got to be the shoes, right? It's super easy to do that. So easy to do that, right? And then you got all these old heads and these people coming out. Well, they used to play in Converse and they used to play in high tops and they never got hurt and yada, 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 yada. Relax. The game of basketball is played differently now, right? Plus, a lot of guys now, they only play basketball, right? Which leads me into this, overuse injuries. Overuse injuries, very real thing. An Achilles tear, that Achilles wore out. That Achilles tendon wore out because you kept doing the same motion over and over and over and over again, right? The analogy I like to give, take a sheet of paper. Take your sheet of paper and just fold that paper back and forth. Plain and simple, right? Just fold that piece of paper back and forth. You're going to eventually create a crease, right? And you can keep folding that paper. And with the slightest tug, that crease is gonna tear because you folded that paper back and forth so much that crease has become weak. That is how I describe an overuse injury. An Achilles tear, for the most part, overuse, right? Usually starts with a calf strain. If you have a calf strain, do not play your next game. There's a high chance your Achilles might pop, right? Like how I mentioned earlier, the Achilles connects the calf to the heel, right? If you have a calf strain, you have some type of calf pain, be careful, restrict yourself, sit out, rest if you have to. You don't want that calf strain to become something it shouldn't have became. Now, I'm not saying Tyrese Halliburton should have sat out, I'm not disrespecting these guys. I respect and commend these guys for playing on a calf strain. Kobe got up and walked. I respect that, right? I'm not saying, I'm not disrespecting these guys for doing that, right? All I'm saying is it's not the smartest decision to do. That is it. It's not the smartest decision. It's not. For basketball players, Achilles, it's that. It's a very important thing. You know, knees and Achilles. And it's very possible. Of course, it's possible to come back from an Achilles tear, right? Dominique Wilkins did it, came back and averaged 30. KD did it, came back and averaged 30. Kobe came back and played another. So it's very possible to come back from an Achilles tear, right? But for basketball players, those Achilles, you have to watch out for. You have to build strong calves and strong, you have to. Now, that doesn't mean you can stop it from happening. You cannot completely prevent an injury from happening. You can delay the time an injury happens, but you can't 100% stop your body from getting hurt, especially if you're an athlete. You're putting yourself at risk every time you perform to get hurt, right? We look at ACLs. Let's look at an ACL, right? An ACL, not really an overuse, really more so how you land, right? You can land the wrong way and tear your ACL, right? Look at Derrick Rose. We all know Derrick Rose, bro. That hop step, he landed the wrong way, knee twisted the wrong way, bow, ACL, gone. All right. I know in football, we had a lot of ACL tears, right? And of course, people are gonna, it's the turf, it's the turf. Can the turf play a role in an ACL? I want to keep saying Achilles. Can the turf play a role in an ACL tear? A little bit, right? because that's a hard surface. Learning how to properly land and decelerate and like stop on a dime properly on a hard surface, yes, that can play a role. You land the wrong way, you step the wrong way, you cut the wrong way, ACL, right? All that, everything in ACL, meniscus, you know, MCL, like everything in like is very sensitive. Those knees are very sensitive, right? Can the turf play a role? Yeah, the turf is the one case where okay, this is an extra factor, an outside factor that can play a role in this injury. But also the way these guys cut, the way these guys they come down and land, that plays a role too. Now in football, depending on your position, you can't really control that. If you're a receiver, right, you jump up, you grab the ball, the way you come down, I mean, you're not necessarily a rag doll, but you're in the air. You're gonna land however you land. The goal, of course, is to land perfectly on your feet, but you can't really control how you land when you're just airborne and someone's coming to tackle you. There's a lot involved with that. Like I mentioned, Derrick Rose with the hop step. He did the hop step, the way he came down, boom, twisted the knee. A lot of people really jump to blame Coach Tibbs, and even Derrick Rose himself said it's not Tibbs' fault. It's not Tibbs' fault. D-Rose said that. D-Rose said that. And it's kind of funny because it's the one time where people actually was like, oh, he shouldn't have been in the game, you know. So, I mean, in a way, people were thinking this is an overuse injury. This is because he's playing too many minutes, which Coach Tibbs is known for playing his guys a crazy amount of minutes. Yes, you can get hurt. That goes back to what I mentioned about an Achilles tear, right? Overuse injuries are a real thing, point blank period. Achilles tear, it's not because of the shoes, right? One rep does not tear your Achilles, right? It's constant repetition over time that wears that tendon down, you know. And then if you're not recovering right, you're not doing your ISOs, you're not doing the right stuff, you're just speeding up that process, you know. And then it snaps. Then you pop your Achilles tendon, you know. And a lot of people, they're going to jump to something, you know, that's not anatomy related. But I mean, a lot of people, like I said, don't really know anatomy to that degree. And the shoes is the easiest thing to blame because the shoes are different. It's different. It's not what it used to be. But no, it's not the shoes. It's not the shoes, right? Overuse injuries. Now, what is the best way to prevent overuse injuries? Honestly, play different sports growing up. I'll get into all the recovery and doing all that other stuff later. When you're young, play different sports. Play football, play baseball, play soccer, play basketball, whatever sports you can play. Run track. Oh my gosh, track is great for athletes. Whatever sport you can play it. Learning to move different directions, learning how to cut different ways. A football player doesn't move like a basketball player, right? A basketball player doesn't move like a baseball player. Baseball doesn't move like soccer, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so learning how to move different planes of motion, learning how to cut different ways, learning how to land different ways, training different ways, right? You build up a bit of a resilience to that overuse injury because you're not constantly doing the same thing, right? You're not constantly doing, like in basketball, you grab a rebound, you do like a little pogo, a little double jump. You're not going to be doing double jumps in baseball, right? Baseball, depending on your position, I mean, it's some lateral movement involved. Of course, it's a lot of sprinting involved. You know, it's sprinting in every sport. But a baseball player, it's not going to be moving like a football player. And then even in football, every position moves different, right? A running back is different from a wide receiver. Obviously, quarterback is different. The defenders are different. Point is, learn to move in different planes of motion. Your transverse plane, your frontal plane, your sagittal plane. Learn to move in different planes of motion. Learn how to cut differently. Learn how to train differently. Do that growing up, right? Specialize in one sport starting at about probably even in high school, it's still good to play multiple sports. It's still good to play. At least freshman and sophomore year of high school, still try to play multiple sports. Specialize your junior year. Commit, specialize. If you already got offers, cool, now you can commit to that one sport. But if you look at it, a lot of great athletes, they played multiple sports, right? Doesn't guarantee they're going to stay healthy. I'm not saying this is like a 100, like I said, you cannot prevent an injury. You cannot 100%. Because even if you get, as your body gets older, as you get older, you're more prone to injuries, right? So I'm not saying playing multiple sports is going to guarantee you stop getting hurt forever. That's not the case. It will help. It will help. Your body will become stronger, and then your body will be used to moving different ways and cutting different ways and landing different ways and acceleration and like all these different things. That's what different sports contribute to, right? On top of that, you generally just become a better athlete. It's actually funny bringing up playing multiple sports because I played basketball against a couple of guys that are in the NFL. Like, really did. Not saying I'm super close to any of these guys, just my school played their school in basketball. Marcus Jones, played against him. He went to Enterprise High School, or to Northview High School, pretty big rivalry, right? Played against him a couple of times, right? Mac Wilson, Carver Montgomery High School, right? He was a year older than me, so I didn't necessarily match up with him. He was class 26, I was class 2017. When he was on varsity, I was on JV, right? Didn't play against him, but he was, he's one of the guys where I saw him play. He matched up against my high school, right? Justin Ross. Justin Ross gave us a triple-double. I remember that game. We played Central Phoenix City High School, MLK Day Classic at my high school. He gave us 11, 10, and 10. Funny. Funny. It's funny because I didn't even know he was nice in football like that. So one of my classmates told me he was going to Clemson. He went on to Clemson, got a national championship, signed with the Chiefs, got 2 Super Bowls. I think he's with the Birmingham Stallions now, so great for him. But yeah, played against him. Played against him. I think he almost dunked on one of my teammates. I remember that game. I remember that game vividly because we lost bad. Like, we lost bad at home. At home. I think it was on a Saturday, and he had 11, 10, and 10. He had a triple-double. So shout out to Justin Ross, bro. So yeah, I played against some guys that have played professional or currently playing professional football. I played them in basketball in high school, right? They played multiple sports. And if you look at other NFL, like Keon Coleman, he played basketball, right? Drake May, he played basketball. You look in the NBA, Anthony Edwards played football growing up. LeBron played some football, right? Playing multiple sports can really, really benefit. Even baseball, bro. Steph Curry played baseball growing up. So play multiple sports. You become a better athlete. You learn how to move differently. Play multiple sports. Play multiple sports. It will take you and carry you a long way in your young athletic career. Next thing, I want to take a couple steps back again. When I was talking about injuries, I mentioned how a lot of guys bring up that, they played in Converse back in the day, which is why I didn't get so hurt, yada, yada, yada. And I said the game is played differently, right? I want to segue into that. I want to talk about the difference in past era basketball and modern era basketball, because there are a lot of differences. A lot of differences. The biggest thing I want to talk about is the so-called defense. It really upsets me when these old heads love to sit up here and flex the defense that they play, when in reality, you're just out there hurting guys. That's not defense, all right? A clothesline while someone's driving to the paint, that's not defense, bro. I hate to inform you, clotheslining somebody while they're driving in for a layup, that's not defense. That's not defense, bro. Taking somebody out the air, right? It's not defense, right? It's not defense. You know what I'm saying? That's how you end someone's career, right? Now, I've said this before. If you feel like you have to hurt me or you have to hurt someone because they're cooking you that bad, you might need to reconsider your basketball career. because you're just bad at basketball, brother. You have to go and hurt me. You have to take me out the air because you can't guard me like a regular person. So you have to go and you have to take me out the air. You're trying to seriously hurt me. No, bro, that's not cool. Like that's not cool, and that's not real defense. It's not cool, and it's not real defense. The game is a lot safer now. You could definitely say it was more physical back then, because it was. Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. The game was a lot more physical, a lot more physical. I'm definitely not going to argue that. You know that you could for sure. Obviously, as we've seen, you could throw some bows, hand checking. Game was a lot more physical. I will definitely give the old heads that. The defense was not defense. You are hurting guys. You are 100% hurting guys, right? A lot of people also don't like the amount of threes that's being shot. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm someone who loves the mid-range, right? I love to play in the mid-range, and I love to watch guys cook in the mid-range. Love watching DeRozan cook, D-Book, Kevin Durant, right? Chris Paul when he was still playing. Like, I love watching guys cook in the mid. I love the mid-range. I love the midi. So, don't get me wrong. I would love to see more mid-range, right? But going from three-point line to three-point line just a little bit, it's easier for these guys, right? So I can see why they just chuck up a bunch of threes. Plus, we all know Golden State, they changed the game. Golden State changed the game, bro. They throwing threes up everywhere. Everywhere. And it showed to be effective when they won a championship. It showed to be effective, right? Live by the three, die by the three. They were definitely living by the three. And it showed to be effective. So now, okay, we all have to be able to shoot threes. Everyone has to be able to shoot threes, right? That's just how the game changed. So, yes, there are a lot of threes. Do I have a problem with it? Not really. I love the mid-range, but I don't have an issue with the amount of three-pointers that's being taken. That doesn't necessarily bother me. It doesn't bother me, right? One thing I will point out that kind of bothers me a little bit, skill levels through the roof these days. Skill levels through the roof. IQ's a little bit lower, right? Defensive IQ is a little bit lower. That's why a lot of guys aren't like lockdown defenders. The defensive IQ is a little bit lower. Offensive IQ is not crazy low, but a lot of guys, they really just focus on like ISO work. If you think about like they have their trainers, they come in, they do one-on-one stuff with the trainer, doing all the skill. The skill work is through the roof, right? They can shoot so many threes because they get open for a lot of threes. Skill work is through the roof. Handles are better, right? Footwork is better, you know? So these guys, they're better one-on-one and better skilled players, but a lot of them, they probably don't play as much pickup. Now, I do see guys, of course, everybody goes to Rico Hines and UCLA, but you do see a lot of these old heads, and they're like, we didn't have trainers, we just played ball, which playing ball is always just good. Go out there and just hoop, right? Nothing wrong with doing your skill stuff. Do your skill stuff, bro. Do your cone work. Do your drills. That's all important to keep yourself sharp. No question about it. But when it comes down to it, the best way to just increase your IQ and, of course, just get better at basketball is just going out and playing pickup. Playing pickup. Learning how to play off the ball. Learning off-ball defensive IQ. Obviously getting better as a defender, because when you're doing your drills, more than likely you're the one on offense the whole time. Right? So skill level's higher, IQ is a little bit lower. A lot of things are a little bit lower on that side because a lot of these guys, they just one-on-one skill work. One-on-one skill work. That is all they do. But I'm not that mad at it, because like it's fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I love watching these guys cook. Go show me what you've been doing with your trainer, man. I'm not even mad at you. I love watching these guys cook. I really enjoy watching them cook. I like watching Kyrie cook. I like watching James Harden cook. I know they're older, but still, I like watching them cook. I like watching the new guys come. I like watching Brandon Miller cook. I like watching LaMelo Ball do his thing, bro. I love watching these guys cook. It is so fun to watch. Very, very entertaining to watch. Right? I think guys are more athletic now. Not saying that there were definitely athletes back then. Let's not get that twisted. Michael Jordan, obviously. Dominique Wilkins, for sure. Alex English, right? These guys, David Thompson, yes, right? These guys were athletes. I think guys are more athletic now, and there are more athletes now because of the advancement of strength training, my field, sports science. Guys have done more research on the bodies. There's a better understanding about things like that. Like there are teams now that have an entire department dedicated to sports performance. My exact role is a sports performance assistant. Guys now can just go out and just be better athletes because they're training to be better athletes. There's more studies done on being better athletes. Well, I mean, a lot of guys back then, they're just naturally gifted, Like they a lot of guys, they did calf raises for the most part because that was the main thing they knew back then. I don't think there was a lot of done on like plyometrics and Olympic lifts, power training. Like I don't do some calf raises, go out there, jump, and try to dunk. Now there's guys that just concentrate. We have so many. I think guys that are so much more athletic. We have so many more athletes as well. We got Zach LaVine. We got Jalen Green. We got Anthony Edwards. We got John Morant. Mac McClung, right? 3-time dunk contest champ. We have a lot. Aaron Gordon, despite being 6'10", can still jump out the gym. Right? I think the athletes of today, there are more, and they are more athletic because of the advancement of training studies, technology, everything. I saw Rick Barry say in an interview, Rick Barry, for his time, he was nice. He was talking about his numbers, and he was like, if I had all that stuff back then that these guys have now, my numbers would be through the roof. And I mean, I think everybody from back then can definitely say that because the technology is better now, right? It is better. Studies, trainers, technologies, coaches, it's all better, which is why we have better athletes. Better athlete does not mean better player, but we see a lot more guys doing crazy layups and crazy dunks all the time now, right? Even guys who aren't in the NBA. Being a professional dunker is a thing now. Like, it's a thing. Guys who aren't in the NBA, they don't play pro, they just dunk. And they do some of the craziest dunks I've ever seen. The athletes of today are better. With everything being discussed, from injuries to the way the game is played today, I would like to go ahead and close and wrap up this episode of the Marq It Down podcast. I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me. I'm your host, Coach Marq. As always, I'm going to make sure to talk about the game, talk about games, talk about everything in between. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.